It's good to have Chuck back in the house today. He's visiting. Chuck in the house. Yeah. Very nice. So I'm really happy to welcome Leslie Smith into the house today. My buddy Les. All right, we're going to start with Yes, Lord, Yes. Clapping, tapping. 1, 2, 1, 2.
I say yes, Lord, yes, to your will and to your way. I say yes, Lord, yes, and I trust you every day. When that Spirit speaks to me, with my whole heart I'll agree, and my answer will be yes, Lord, yes. I say yes, Lord, yes, to your will and to your way. I say yes, Lord, yes, and I trust you every day. When that Spirit speaks to me, with my whole heart I'll agree, and the answer will be yes, Lord, yes. I say yes, Lord, yes, to your will and to your way. I say yes, Lord, yes, and I'll trust you every day. When that Spirit speaks to me, with my whole heart I'll agree, and the answer will be yes, Lord, yes. I say yes, Lord, yes, to your will and to your way. I say yes, Lord, yes, and I'll trust you every day. day. When that Spirit speaks to me, with my whole heart I'll agree, and the answer will be yes, Lord.
Take it, keep me.
I say yes, Lord, yes, to your will and to your way. I say yes, Lord, yes, and I trust you every day. When that Spirit speaks to me, with my whole heart I'll agree, and the answer will be yes, Lord, yes. I say yes, Lord, yes, to your will and to your way. I say yes, Lord, yes, and I'll trust you every day. When that Spirit speaks to me, with my whole heart I'll agree, and the answer will be yes, Lord, yes. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Your love makes me sing. 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 Your love is amazing, steady and unchanging. Your love is a mountain firm beneath my feet. Your love is a mystery, how you gently lift me when I am surrounded. Your love carries me. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Your love makes me sing. 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 Your love is surprising, I can feel it rising. All the joy that's growing deep inside of me. Every time I see you, all your goodness shines through, and I can feel this God soul rising up in me. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Your love makes me sing. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Your love makes me sing. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Your love makes me sing. Hallelujah, hallelujah, supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
Stevie driving the ship. Thank you. If you feel comfortable, please stay standing and join the hand of the people next to you. We're going to do Surely the Presence just a little faster because we can't slow down. Okay, here we go.
Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. There's a holy hush around us. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. There's a holy hush around us. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place.
Let us pray. Surely the presence of the Lord is here because you, each and every one of you here, whether you are here in this physical space, whether you're watching online, whether you are just holding us in your hearts and minds somewhere, just by doing that, we're experiencing the oneness that is God. It's by coming together to sing, to worship, to sit in the silence together, to fellowship together. This is oneness, this is love, this is God made visible. And there's nothing I look forward to more during the week than to come on Sunday morning and experience this with you. And just as Mother Nature in all her beginnings of summer glory, the flowers and the green leaves and the animals, so too your beauty is just shining so brightly today. And thank you for being here. Thank you for being the presence of the one power and the one presence we call God. And so it is, and so let it be. Amen. You may be seated. Good morning and welcome to Unity on the River. How's everybody doing today? Good, I guess. As I love to say, we experience the fullness of God in, through, and as each other. And to see the face of God, we simply look to the face of another, or turn to someone and say, God looks good today. God looks good today. Here we go. God is indeed looking good today. I'm glad you're all here to connect with the divine and with each other. And I'm so glad that this beautiful young lady's here to help me out today. Ladies and gentlemen, Michelle Galan, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ogun, and thank you for that incredible music. Wasn't that amazing? You have to get here early now. Get here on time and early to get that wonderful music. So I want to welcome you all to Unity on the River, and I also want us to say hello to our streamers who are watching us from all around the world. And is there anyone who is visiting us here for the first time today? If you could raise your hand. Anybody? Nobody. All right. Well, welcome everybody who's been here before then. Great to have you here. So, the core values of Unity on the River are that we are a center of celebration, inspiration, transformation, spirit-centeredness, oneness, and joy. This is who we are. And our mission statement, if you'll join me in saying that together, we are a vibrant spiritual community that celebrates the presence in all and awakens humanity to its divinity. And our vision, centered in love, we joyously co-create a world of oneness, peace, and harmony. I have a few announcements for you. We have a great lineup of speakers coming in June, including David Hasselback and David Roth and Jim Goldstein. And on June 4th, we'll have Jackie Woodside for her talk, Walking in Wonder. And you can find out more information about our June speakers at the Spiritual Resource Center as you come in the entrance, and also on our website. After the June 4th service, we will be having a community meeting. Please do try to stay for that right after the service to learn more about what's going on at our center. On June 15th, we're delighted to have Pat Valancourt, who's back up from Florida, for her workshop, Unleash Your Vision, Get Past Fear. Will be on Thursday, June 15th at 7, and she will talk about strategies for dealing with obstacles and negative thought patterns. So please join her for that. Also in June, Amy Joslin is facilitating the Lazarus Blueprint on Thursday nights starting June 1st through the 29th at 6:30. It's an interactive class, and you'll be studying the book, The Lazarus Blueprint, to learn the secrets about Lazarus and how to bring joy and fulfillment to your journey. For these events, you can register on the website or at the Spiritual Resource Center. Now is the time in our service where we greet one another with love, either a handshake or a hug, and say, I see you, I see your magnificence. And you can either share a hug or a handshake. Namaste.
Welcome Leslie back up for her heart opener. This is a tune, Heaven Down Here.
Just slow ourselves down here. I'm so high being here. Yes, who needs addictions when you can come here? So good. So I'm just going to put my hand on my heart and just drop down, down, down into my heart, into that source. Isn't it love in this life that you need? You can offer your soul to an offer of sacrifice, but give your heart to me. Let's bring heaven down here. Let's bring heaven home down. I don't want to wait for the angels. Let's bring heaven down here. What's in the sky that you and I can find? Simply in love, what could be more divine? How can I make you believe forever and evermore? I'll give my heart to you. Let's bring heaven down here. Let's bring heaven home down. I don't want to wait for the angels. Let's bring heaven down here. Don't you know salvation is the warmth of God's embrace? Kiss the moonlight on my face. I need you now. I need you now. You can offer your soul to an altar of sacrifice, but give your heart to me. Let's bring heaven down here. Let's bring heaven home down. I don't want to wait for the angels. Let's bring heaven down here. We're in heaven right here, right now. Right here, right now. We're in heaven right here, right now. Heaven right here, right now. Heaven right here.
Leslie Smith. Beautiful. It's always fun to have Les here.
Thank you for that, Leslie. Loves me some Tuck and Patty. They're awesome. Funny you should mention who needs addictions. I'm talking about binging today. Yeah. So this book that I've been doing my talks from the last few weeks. Silence, the Power of Quiet in a World Full of Noise by Thich Nhat Hanh. It has been challenging me a lot. It's been really asking me to re-examine how I spend all of my time, consciously and unconsciously. Like, I'm the kind of guy who, like, you know, when I'm home cleaning or cooking, you know, there's like a podcast on, or there's music in the background. I'm dancing with the vacuum cleaner, you know, kind of doing a little wiggle while I chop the stuff. It's amazing. I haven't lost any fingers yet. But this is it. There's always this kind of like background stream going on, and this book has really been inviting me to take a look at that. You know, in 12 steps, step number 4 says, you know, take a fearless moral inventory of your life. And I've really been applying that this week in terms of an inventory of how do I really not just spend my conscious time, but the unconscious background time. You know, I invited us last time I spoke to kind of take a look at that. And this week I wanted to focus on my TV habits. It's no secret, some of you know I watch a lot of TV. This week, I thought I'd actually sit down and take an inventory of how much TV I actually watch. And to talk a little bit about this binging phenomenon. I wrote about it in my blog post on Friday, check it out on the website. But when I sat down and started to list the TV shows that I'm either currently watching or in between seasons of, I was having trouble like getting all of them, so I thought I'd help myself. I'd go by network. Let's start with HBO. Here's my favorite HBO shows. And again, this is just the stuff that, this list does not include the occasional movie or the occasional, like sometimes, you know, you're surfing and you see like a Friends episode on and you stop and watch it because it's Friends. Who doesn't love Friends, right? So this is not counting any of that. This is like the regular I make time for or will sometimes binge on stuff. So HBO. Of course, you got to start with Game of Thrones. All right? There's Silicon Valley. There's Veep. And if you want to watch something political that makes you laugh and put everything in context, watch Veep. There's also one called Insecure. Okay, let's go to Showtime. Showtime, there's Billions, Shameless, Dice. You guys remember Andrew Dice Clay, the comedian from back in the day? Yeah, he's got a series now that he's in his mid to late 40s and trying to grapple with where his life is now or where it isn't. We got a show called Happy-ish, House of Lies, Penny Dreadful. That's Showtime. Let's go to Netflix. Netflix, that's a big culprit right there. Yeah. We got a show called Love, Master of None, Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, which just started its 3rd season. I'm so happy. 13 Reasons Why. We got Daredevil, Grace and Frankie, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Jessica Jones. These are all superhero TV shows, and you guys know I love superheroes. House of Cards. Gotta love House of Cards. Better Call Saul, Lovesick, Marco Polo, because history, right? So Marco Polo. At least that's what I tell myself. Let's go to Amazon, because I stream Amazon too. Oh, we're not halfway in this list yet, all right? We got Catastrophe. Well, I can't do Breaking Bad. That's over. But I watched Breaking Bad. Better Call Saul is a spinoff. So anyways, so Catastrophe, Man in the High Castle, Sneaky Pete, Mozart in the Jungle, Transparent, Goliath, which I thought was something about the Bible. Turns out not, but still enjoyable. Then let's go to Hulu. Yes, I do Hulu too. Yeah. We got Casual. We got The Handmaid's Tale, which is like garnering a lot of attention now. There's a show called Scandal. There's a show called Harlots, which is exactly about what it says it is. There's Gotham. And some of these are like network shows. I don't have regular cable, but I watch them on Hulu. Good thing I don't have regular cable. Modern Family, Blackish, Speechless. There's an original Hulu show called The Path, which is about a somewhat charismatic spiritual leader of a group that might be becoming a little bit cultish. I'm not saying I'm going to learn any lessons from it at all. Not saying that, but I'm not saying not either. And then I have my daily to weekly staples of things like Daily Show, Last Week Tonight, Real Time with Bill Maher, and now we are in the deep end of NBA playoffs, so I'm watching a lot of basketball as well. I'm just going to sit down now. There's nothing to say after that. Nothing to say after that. So yeah, that's my TV watching. That's kind of like my TV watching. It's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff. And I'm really far behind in a lot of it too. I don't think I'm ever going to catch up, but it ain't for lack of trying. But one of the things I said a few weeks ago is, it's not so much what you do, but why you do it. What is the intention behind what you're doing? If we are engaging in this spiritual life, in the spiritual path, and really taking the time to live in and from the silence, does this mean we don't do any of these things at all? No. Here's what Thich Nhat Hanh says in the book. He says, silence is ultimately something that comes from the heart, not from any set of conditions outside us. Living from a place of silence doesn't mean never talking, never engaging, or never doing things. It simply means we're not disturbed inside. There isn't constant internal chatter. If we are truly silent, then no matter what situation we find ourselves in, we can enjoy the sweet spaciousness of silence. So it's not about not engaging or doing things, but for me, it's the why. Why am I engaging? I used to watch a lot of TV, but I never watched this much as well. And there's a reason for how I got into this pattern of watching this much TV. I was trying to numb myself from a lot of things, namely one thing, namely was when my wife passed away 2 years ago. The grief of that, even though I knew that the only way out is through. That's a common saying. If you're a fan of Alanis Morissette, she's got a whole song about it, and that was like my theme song for a year. Like, the only way out is through. But even in the midst of that, there were times when I was like, you know what? This is really exhausting. I need a break. I need a break. Or I didn't want to face that kind of heartache, that kind of pain, that kind of... And I was like, all right, I need to numb myself. And I started watching a lot of TV. Some of us numb ourselves in a lot of other ways. My wine and beer intake increased significantly as well. To the point where I was realizing, hey, you know what? That's maybe not a good way to go. It's not. And I could feel myself getting to that point where that's what I was turning to. So I thought I'd turn to something a little bit safer, TV. And I watched a lot of it to numb myself. And a lot of times we do this unconsciously. I realize that a lot of the reason that I have music going in the background, again, nothing wrong with why you play music in the background or how you do it, but the reason I was doing it was, again, distancing myself. Because when I stood quietly, mindfully, chopping vegetables or food, or vacuuming the house, or sweeping, or doing any task like that, my mind would wander and settle into sometimes those dark corners of myself that I'd just as soon not deal with. But if I had some music going, if I had some good funk music going, and I'm dancing and having a good time, yelling "She's a Brick House" at the top of my lungs, then I didn't have to worry about slipping into those dark corners. I was throwing open the windows of joy and happiness and drowning it out with the noise. I was not being in the silence while I was doing what I was doing. Some of us, it's a hard place to be in the silence. Some of us have a lot of stories, a lot of tragedies, a lot of heartache, a lot of pain, a lot of stuff deep down. Whether it's pain that's currently happening now or pain that happened before, or even anticipated pain, anticipated heartache. You know, some of us walk around with the when's the other shoe gonna fall? You know, and that keeps us out of the silence as well. By the way, do you know how that saying came about? I think I mentioned this before. Waiting for the other shoe to fall. Do you know how that saying came about? It goes back to back in New York, turn of the century, when there were all these tenements that sprung up, and the walls and the flooring was so thin that someone downstairs could hear somebody come home from work upstairs and hear him take his boots off. And he heard one boot fall and then the other boot fall. So we were waiting for the other shoe to drop. But it's only associated with people in a state of like abject poverty. When you live in a place that's the walls are so thin that you can hear everything that's going on. And everyone was crammed into these these housings, an overcrowdedness. And it became associated then with a bad life, a poor life experience, waiting for the other shoe to drop. But some of us kind of walk around that way. You know, life is so good right now, but let's not get happy because you just never know what could happen. So we're not walking around in a place of internal silence. We are creating that noise of what may be happening, what may be coming. It's kind of human nature to do that. It's an evolutionary thing that caused us to exist as a species. In the caveman days, there were no casual, lovely trips through the forest, partner on your arm, admiring nature. Nature was out to kill you. So you had to be on edge. You had to have that heightened sense of awareness, that anticipatory, like, I got to be always on the lookout. So that's encoded in our DNA, our genetics, from an evolutionary standpoint. But we don't need to live that way. In fact, it's better for us to detach ourselves from that way of living. And this is a lot of what our spiritual practices are intended to do. It's intended to get us to this place of being in the silence. And again, we talked about this. It's not just about quiet. It's a state of consciousness of quiet. A state of consciousness where the internal chatter isn't always going, and we don't do things like have the news on in the background, or have music on in the background, or when we realize we've come to the end of our to-do list for the day and it's only 5:30 or 6. I don't know if any of you have that life experience. I don't, but just in case you do. And you go, well, what do I do now? Here, let me go watch some TV, or something like that. And again, it's not so much the action itself, but again, the intention behind it. If you are clear that you want to set aside 2 or 3 hours and binge watch a few episodes of a series, but you're doing it clear that, you know what, this is my entertainment time. I've had a long week. I want to relax. This is part of how I relax. I'm setting aside this time to do it intentionally. Boom, I am there. That's different. That's different from when you say, you know what, I got 30 minutes left here. I want to take a 30-minute break. I got a laundry list of things to do. Let me watch one episode, and then 8 episodes later, you're still there with the remote in your hand, and they're going, what happened? Well, you know what happened. You didn't turn off the TV. But that's what happens. Sometimes we want to escape, and we use it as an escape, okay? And it's so much harder these days, because now we can take our TV with us everywhere. There's a commercial, I don't know if you've seen this, with Mark Wahlberg for AT&T, and he's talking about how we just don't want the TV to be in our living room. We want all our rooms to be TV rooms. And he shows you all the people in the house, And there's a TV in the kitchen, and a TV in the living room, a TV in the bedroom, a TV in the bathroom. I'm so glad I don't have a TV in my bathroom. I might never leave. But I do, because I take my phone in with me. Remember, there was a time where we sat and we took a magazine out. We knew we were going to be in there for a while, flipping through the magazine. Don't be embarrassed. You know we've all done it. Now, some of us go in with our phones, and like 20 minutes later, Facebook, Instagram, headlines, we watching TV, movie previews, we watching stuff. And it's like we take it with us now. We take it with us, you know. And I would be the one who was, a few years ago, I was the biggest proponent of that. I was like, yes, everything I want, on demand, wherever I go, whenever I want to get there. This data plan isn't big enough. I need more data. Where's the Wi-Fi? Why can't you give me the Wi-Fi code? I got to buy coffee to get a Wi-Fi code to watch my thing. Okay, fine, I'll buy coffee. I don't even drink coffee, but I need the Wi-Fi. It was this thing. We always wanted to be in that. Why? Because we did not want to be fully present to the silence within us and the things around us. He speaks about two kinds of states of silence. He talks about oppressive silence and joyful silence. The oppressive silence is the type that is enforced upon us. You know, sometimes in certain cultures, there's like autocrats and people who run the country. They're like they clamp down on free press. They clamp down on dissenters. Enforce silence. When I was a child growing up in Barbados, the philosophy was children were supposed to be seen but not heard. Enforce silence, which is why I do what I do now. I'm making up for lost years. Okay. Got a lot that I had to say. It's all coming out now. Enforce silence. Often, sometimes we struggle with our spiritual practices because we feel that maybe they're being enforced upon us, you know. So there's that kind of enforced silence. But then there's also what he talks about, joyful silence. And in joyful silence, there's two types that Buddhism speaks about: thundering silence and noble silence. Thundering silence. This is the kind like when you're out in nature and you hear the wind rustling through the leaves and birds are chirping and you hear little animals scurrying underfoot and you hear the ripple of the stream, and maybe in the distance you hear children laughing or playing, or sometimes you're in the countryside and you hear like the sheaves of wheat blowing in the wind or the rustle of the corn stalks. That's thundering silence. There's a lot going on there, but it's not oppressive. It allows you to reconnect with that amazing manifestation of the divine nature. Thundering silence. But then there's also, he calls noble silence. And this is where we consciously choose to live from that place of the stillness within. And this is, again, not about being quiet. It's about the presence that you are. You know, some people walk into a room and you can just feel the energy suck, or you feel like a tornado walked in with them. But then you feel some people who walk into the room and command a certain sense of centeredness, of stillness. And they may be saying hi, they may actually be greeting people, but there's a certain sense of groundedness that you find yourself drawn to. That's noble silence. That's what we're talking about when we're talking living from that silent place within us, living from the quiet. And when we walk into a room and we bring that presence with us, when we bring that sense of clarity of where we're coming from, when we've quieted the conscious and unconscious noises within us, and we just walk in as the presence, that's what we're talking about. That's the invitation to live in every moment, no matter what you're doing. I gave myself the assignment this past week of when I'm sweeping, when I'm cooking, when I was gardening, and I don't garden. I don't have a green thumb. I don't want to try to have one, but I decided this week I would, back third of my yard it's like all mud and dirt. I say, I'm going to put some grass down, some seed, and so, how many of you ever put grass seed down? It's the whole thing where you got to dig up the thing, get the rocks and the other weeds out, and then you got to put the seed down. And, when I looked at it, it looked like a really small patch of ground. That's all I got to say. Like 5 hours later, the green thumbs are like bruised and sore, and just digging up and moving rocks and putting seed down and then smoothing it over and all that kind of stuff. And I started, again, doing it, listening to a podcast. Because that's my habit. That's my ingrained way of doing things. I got some manual labor to do. Let me go get the thing on. And then about an hour in, I remembered this. And I was like, let me try. Let me try. It was also coincidentally about the time the headphones died, but that's nothing to do with anything. Let's not confuse coincidence and correlation. And causality, I mean. But I was like, you know what? Let me try what I've been talking about. So I spent the next 3 hours digging in the soil and planting seed with no unconscious stream in my ears, enjoying the noise of people walking by and the wind blowing and dogs barking next door, and being fully present to the squelch of soil under my boots, and really feeling the texture of seeds and the rake in my hand, and feeling the roughage underneath. It was a transcendent experience. And I for the first time in my life, I get why people who are obsessed with gardening are obsessed with gardening. It is truly, when you put yourself fully present to it, a meditative experience. An experience that really takes you into the thoughts of yourself. There were times when I wasn't aware of what I was thinking at that point in time. The work was still being done. This is to live in the silence. This is to be fully present to yourselves and not avoid it, not be afraid of it. This is the practice of transformation in everything that you do, in every moment. Every moment then becomes a holy moment, a spiritual moment, a moment where God shows up because you were fully present to the God of that moment. So this is my invitation to you this week. Take that fearless inventory of how you spend your conscious and unconscious time. What's on in the foreground? What's on in the background? Why is it on in the foreground? Why is it on in the background? And again, it's not about not having music on in the background, but really asking yourself, why is it there? Perhaps spend a lot of time being fully present to whatever it is you're doing. Eating, cleaning, writing, drawing, clipping your toenails. I don't care what it is. But without the background, see what happens. See what happens. Let's take a few moments now to do one of the guided meditations from the book. So I invite you to send yourselves in your chair, plant both feet on the floor, clear your lap of books or papers, nothing to hold on to, just let your hands rest, relax in your lap, and if you're comfortable, just gently close your eyes. And let's just turn our awareness to the flow of breath in and out. And when, not if, but when your thoughts wander, and you become aware that your thoughts have wandered, simply bring them back to the breath without judgment, without feeling of disappointment. So let's just breathe. With every out breath, just let the shoulders drop a little bit more. Let the muscles of the face soften. Let your breath slow a little bit. Take deeper, fuller breaths. Breathing in, I am aware of the air. Breathing out, I enjoy breathing the air. Breathing in, I am aware of the air. Breathing out, I enjoy breathing the air. Aware of the air, feeling joy. Aware of the air, feeling joy. Breathing in, I'm aware of the sun. Breathing out, I smile to the sun. Breathing in, I am aware of the sun. Breathing out, I smile to the sun. Aware of the sun, smiling. Aware of the sun, smiling. Breathing in, I am aware of the trees. Breathing out, I smile to the trees. Breathing in, I am aware of the trees. Breathing out, I smile to the trees. Aware of the trees, smiling. Aware of the trees, smiling. Breathing in, I am aware of the fields. Breathing out, I smile to the fields. Breathing in, I am aware of the fields. Breathing out, I smile to the fields. Aware of the fields, smiling. Aware of the fields, smiling. Breathing in, I am aware of the river. Breathing out, I smile to the river. Breathing in, I am aware of the river. Breathing out, I smile to the river. Aware of the river, smiling. Aware of the river, smiling. Breathing in, I am aware of the air. Breathing out, I enjoy breathing the air. Breathing in, I'm aware of the air. Breathing out, I enjoy breathing the air. Aware of the air, feeling joy. Aware of the air, feeling joy. Let us continue to breathe with awareness as we rest in the silence. Let the breath ground you. Keep you in that place of inner silence. Keep you in a place centered in the divine. Can we have the prayer box? Thank you, Jane. So I invite you to hold in that place of silence within you, that consciousness of oneness. All the names and the situations here in our prayer box and on our prayer list. Seeing that these individuals remember that consciousness of silence within them, that consciousness of God as source. The consciousness of the stillness beneath and behind the noise of worry, of fear, of lack. That they remember that consciousness of true abundance, a life fulfilled, a life of God being fully present, fully visible, in, through, and as them. And should you hold this intention for others, I invite you to say their names out loud now. Affirming that the circumstances that they find themselves in, that we find ourselves in, are not the definition of who we are, but opportunities for the God of who we are to shine forth. So it is. So we let it be. Amen.
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and I see there is only love. There is only love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love. I lose myself when it seems I've lost my way. I go inside and quiet my mind. I can hear Spirit please say, there is only love. There is love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love.
Thank you, Ogun, for that beautiful reminder about the silence that is always present, close as our breath. I'd like to introduce our prayer chaplains for today. They are available to pray with you after service. If you have a care or concern or a gratitude you'd like to share, and it is always confidential, whatever you say with them. And if you have a need for a home or a hospital visit, we have a team that does that also. Is anyone here from that team who could stand? Oh, great. Eddie. Oh, good. Welcome back, Anne. They are available to see anyone who's in the hospital or recuperating at home, and you can speak with either of them or call the office. Now it's time to affirm our tithes and offerings. If you'll hold them and bless them and join with me in our affirmation. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And So it is, so the ushers come forward and we have another musical piece. Ogun has a few announcements.
Right after church today, right after like 12, there's going to be a meeting for those who are interested in learning more about live streaming. Even way before I was hired as minister and I would come here as a guest speaker, my thought was always more people need to see what's going on here. Whether it's people in the building or the phrase I like to use is eyes on us. And like I said, we are in the technology age where we can take our devices with us and watch anything, anytime. This needs to be something that people can watch anytime. And we do that through our live streaming. We've done an amazing, tremendous job. The folks who've been working on the live stream team since I've been here, we're on YouTube now. It's very easy to stream services. We have dozens who watch every Sunday, hundreds who watch during the week to see our service, the music, the talks, everything. And it takes a village to make that happen. And I want a bigger village. I want us to be live streaming, not just Sunday service, things that happen on Wednesday, anytime there's a special event here, but that's going to take people. And you're probably saying to yourself, I know nothing about computers and live streaming. If that's the case, that's the person we want. And you're like, what are you talking about? Seriously, we've got this down to a science now. It is literally a checklist you follow. It is easy. It is an easy thing to do, okay? And if you're looking for some way you can serve this community that's not going to take a lot of time and gets you here as well and helps truly expand who we are into the world, that's a great way to do it. And I will speak a little bit more to this at the meeting at 12. So grab some food, come to the meeting at 12. Where's the meeting at 12 again? In here in the sanctuary, because I want a lot of you here, okay? But truly, if you know how to turn a computer on, you're good. You think I'm kidding? I'm not kidding. It's that easy. The other thing I want you also to know is that last time I asked you to mark your calendars for SEE week, where you can come and do classes here, 9 concurrent classes. We've got some guest ministers coming in to teach, an amazing team of folk. Registration is now available on our website. And the cool thing we're offering for the first time this year is a meal option. So if you're worried about how you're going to get breakfast and lunch worked into all these classes that you're doing or whatever, we got you covered. Dinner, you're kind of on your own. But that's okay. That's okay, baby steps. So please, check out the website, check out all the classes we are offering, and really step into that transformative experience with us. Come forward, ushers, please. Let's go ahead and say a prayer for these gifts. So if you all go to a place of gratitude within your hearts, and we give thanks for these tithes, these offerings here in this building, those who are watching online, who've tithed online as well. These gifts represent the flow of the universe, the flow of God, the flow of abundance in, through, and as us. And as a spiritual community, we also practice tithing, and we give a portion of these back into the community, local community, the unity community, to help keep the flow going. We are blessed, we are abundant, and we are grateful. Thank you. Amen.
Want to acknowledge about how many people it takes to offer this service on a Sunday. Live streaming, PowerPoint, the sound, the choir, children's church, hospitality, bookstore, so many of us. And if you're not participating and volunteering yet, sign up. It's a great way to get to know people and to give back to this community. And specifically, we'd like to acknowledge today the PowerPoint team and the bookstore team and the streaming team. And we have a few angels specifically this week, Wayne and Jim and Jackie. Also, we also want to thank our board members, if you could stand to be acknowledged. And they are available after service. If you have any questions or concerns, you can speak with one of them. Also want to thank the people who make the Wednesday night service happen. This week's service at 7 p.m., May 24th, is a sound healing service with Christina Mariah Lucia and Elaine Falvey. And it is a sound healing service. I am present. So please join them on Wednesday if you're able. And now we have our celebration song, I Release.
We bring Leslie back up for I Release. And I'd love to give Leslie a compliment before we start. Leslie always reminds me, no matter what's going on, like release, return to love. And she always brings that and brings the fun, and I really want to thank her for that. She's an awesome girl.
There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all by myself. Well, I didn't know, I just didn't know that the grace of God was sufficient. Well, I didn't know that the grace of God wasn't hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged and you're struggling to get through, to just get through another day, well, I tell you now, you gotta let go. You gotta let it all go. I mean, let it all go. Because this is what I got to say. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see a light. I am free in the Spirit, and I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. Let me hear you. The Spirit from my life. That's it. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see a light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release, I let go. I let my Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, it is. I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. Oh, no, I faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. I'm only here for God. Yes, I am. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release, yes, I feel the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
Wow. Yeah, take those with you this week. Those are your affirmations for the week, those songs. And now I'd like to welcome our youth and family ministry as they come in.
We are walking in the light of
Namaste. Hi, everybody. We had a great day in Youth Ed today. Beautiful, loving, caring energy. There was a lot of creation and gentle play with the little ones, and us bigger kids who are still kind of outside had a beautiful introspective discussion in the sunshine in our beautiful new meditation garden. It's a great day.
Awesome. Thank you. And I think there are a couple of our teens who are missing because they had prom yesterday and stayed up way too late. No, I didn't bring pictures, but if you check my Facebook page, I will brag on my absolutely gorgeous daughter. Yesterday, if you've not seen pictures, and Aria Underreiner as well. They grow up so fast. It's beautiful. Let us stand, hold hands with your neighbor as we affirm the truth for these kids and for ourselves and for the entire world. Peace begins with us. Let there be peace on earth. Be the silence, it's me.
We hope you have as much fun as we do.